Good morning. My name is Father Eugene Lauer. I'm the director of the National Pastoral Life Center in New York. There are two very significant factors to keep in mind as we consider human resource issues in parishes at this moment in the evolution of Catholic ministry in the United States. First, there are more full-time paid professional lay ministers in U.S. parishes than there are full-time priests. And secondly, there are more full-time ministers overall, that is, a combination of priests and professional lay ministers, than in the 1940s and 1950s when the number of priestly ordinations was at its peak. Here are some issues for consideration. First, the assignment of priests. It's been the assumption that every diocesan priest who is successful will eventually become pastor of a parish. Perhaps we should reevaluate this assumption, even in an age when the number of priests is dramatically declining. It may indeed be much more valuable to assess each individual's talents and gifts in determining what kind of ministry he should be involved in. Yes, this would mean that we would have more parish life directors or parish administrators, the names usually used for laypersons in charge of parishes, but our ministry might be much more effective overall if we assigned all ministers more carefully based on their talents and gifts. Keeping in mind that it is more accurate to state that in our present priest shortage crisis, that we have a shortage of presiders and not a shortage of ministers. Second issue, the evaluation of priests. Now, some dioceses have established a policy of evaluation for their clergy at regular intervals, every 3 years, 6 years, whatever. Parish council members, staff personnel, and some selected parishioners are involved in the process. The process usually begins with a self-evaluation by the priest himself. This process is met with varying degrees of success in dioceses. The third issue, terms for pastors. Now, many dioceses have established a policy of terms for pastoral appointments, both for pastors and associate pastors. A common policy is a term of 6 years with the possibility of a second 6-year term. Ordinarily, a priest must accept a new appointment after 12 years. Anecdotal observations about this system seem favorable. The priests are evaluated after the first term, and the bishop, in collaboration with the personnel committee, may decide that the priest should be reassigned. The priest himself may also ask to be transferred. The fourth issue, retirement policies. In the past several decades, it has become the ordinary practice for priests to retire. In the first half of the 20th century, it was a badge of honor for a priest to die with his boots on. The ordinary age for clergy retirement is 75. However, many dioceses allow priests to retire at 70 if they so request. One diocese tried a policy of asking all priests to submit a letter of retirement at the age of 70. Then the bishop had the right to accept the letter or to discuss it with the priest and ask him to continue. The priest also had the right to ask for a continuance. The advantage of such a system was that some priests simply refused to accept the fact that they were no longer capable of continuing as a pastor. In this system, the bishop was able to more gently move the priest into retirement or into a less taxing assignment. Fifth issue, applying for pastorates. Most dioceses have developed a policy of permitting priests to apply for parishes that are in need of a pastor. Generally, a letter is sent to the priests of the diocese describing the parish and inviting them to apply. This system often results in priests taking more responsibility for their ministries and generating more enthusiasm among them for their work. It can also have the advantage of matching one's gifts with the needs of a parish. Now, the issues I've just mentioned are some anecdotal observations that I've gathered over the past 16 years at the Hesburgh Sabbatical Center, where I had the opportunity to speak with about 1,000 priests from all over the United States about their ministries. I offer them to stimulate a discussion of our human resource policies in the United States Church.